and we want to say well done. Following on from that, we also are pleased to recognize the work they have done, particularly with research, and to have Mr. Wani heading that department. And it helps build the institution, helps place them where they should be with regards to pulling businesses together in order to be able to show the government what the issues are and what's mitigating business communities moving and being able to generate income, being able to employ more people, and being able to grow and increase the economy. So we're pleased with this first edition of the BCI, and like my colleague from the World Bank has said, we hope to look into this data and see how we can use it more. And just to reiterate what Richard said, is that data is important, and if we're not able to get good quality data, if we're not able to research it properly, then we find it difficult to be able to go to the government to say, these are the issues we have, and what can you do about it? We are committed to continue to work with the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, as well as other commerce and industries in other states, in order to be able to place them where they should be, in order to be able to give them a voice, in order for them to be able to demand what's expected of them, and in order to be able to give them a voice to be able to advocate. Advocacy is important because when you have evidence that is vital, is rich, then you can go to the government. So without taking much of our time, we want to say well done for the work that's been done, and we look forward that in the next quarters that the data will be much better, it will be timely, and that a lot more private sector companies will be able to provide the information that's required. And we hope that the National Bureau of Statistics will be able to work with the LCCI in order to be able to generate more credible data that can be used and will be able to place the businesses where they should be. I'm glad for all that the score for power has grown. And that's to show that we're making progress, and because DFID has been working in this area. Thank you once again.
What I'll do is just very quickly go through what Enable has done, and also our understanding of the whole concept of the confidence index. I think the first thing I would say is that whatever gets measured gets managed. If you're able to get a better feel for what the economy is doing, what business leaders think, then it's much easier to manage it. So for that reason, the confidence index is very useful. It's a barometer of what businessmen think. It gives you a mood, as the gentleman from the CBN said, Dr. Modi. It's a mood of what business leaders are thinking in terms of moving forward, what happens next. So it's very useful. Now, going back to the issue of advocacy, Enable has worked with LCCI as a star partner. LCCI is one of our star partners, and I can say that anywhere, any day. We've worked hard with them. They've been very responsive, and for us, it's a real achievement that they're now moving forward to the level where they're launching a business confidence index, the first in this country, that looks at what is happening, what business leaders think now, and what they think in terms of what's going to happen in the future. So for us, it's very useful. It's a very useful start. And what we hope to see, as Richard and Oge have said, is that we look at the methodology, we look to expand it, we look for more partners to work with LCCI, and the confidence index becomes the main indicator for this country in terms of what businesses do. It then improves, of course, how LCCI does more advocacy. At that point, I think I'll leave it for now. Thank you very much.
And please identify yourself and make your contribution very briefly. I don't know whether Mr. Adediji, Lagos State Government, will have the first opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. There is no doubt that the BCI is a barometer for business operators to know what obtains, within the quarter. And I would say this is a fraudulent and consolidation of the advocacy role of LCCI. No doubt you've been a champion of businesses operating in Lagos State and beyond, and your research and the outcome of this is a further testimony that you are indeed the premier and the famous Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Nigeria. You have continued to set the standard, and I'm very sure that with this you are really consolidating your position. And you are indeed helping government, the federal and the state government, and especially Lagos State government, in allowing businesses or business operators to know where they will direct their resources to within the first quarter. And when they have an insight into doing this, definitely the information will provide a good management decision for them in knowing what to do. So once again, and on behalf of the Honorable Commissioner, I express the appreciation of the state government in this direction. Then, in the course of the presentation, Mr. Guani mentioned series of government agencies that are inhibiting business operations in the state. Well, let me say this, that we have created a platform where His Excellency himself will interact with business operators. It started last year, and I'm telling you that another session will hold this quarter, where we call it the corporate assembly, where business operators, captains of industry will meet physically with His Excellency and bear out your mind on challenges you have as regard the policy, as regard some of the agencies and so on. I'm very happy that the President was at the first edition of the Corporate Assembly, and I'm saying and I'm telling you that the next edition is coming up this quarter.
I therefore feel very strongly that there's a need for the Chamber to get some collaboration or some partnership with some major institutions in this country that can assist us in the area of funding, because research is never cheap. Data bank or getting index prepared and given out to be authoritative and reliable is not a cheap thing. So we need to look at the area of funding to support this program. It's a very major thing. I told my young man here, my friend, that one other thing that will be very useful in the area of credibility of information is also to check to have a feedback of the reality, because it's just a projection for quarterly basis. And that's for us to also have a feedback on what truly has it been for that quarter. And by the time we can do that consistently for many quarters or years to come, and we are seen not to be too far away from our projections, that is credibility. That is the area where the Chamber will stand top. And when we not pick the government, they will respect us for what we are saying.
I can't say and I cannot do more than my president has already done. And of course, the speaker, he's done extremely well. So I want to use another card as chairman of Economic and Statistical Group of NASIMA. Now, what is really happening? Why apparently figures from NBS and other different agencies don't always agree? Take for instance, in 2006, the census for the country was given, and Lagos was now said to be less than Kano. The previous session before them, the previous census before them, Lagos was more than Kano. And yet, at that time, Jigawa State was part of Kano. Please,
Mr. Lagos State Governor or Commissioner, please note, quote me as a person, okay? Now, what has happened is, this time, Jigawa lost perhaps about 13, 14 million, I don't know how they got about that. On August 6th, 2010, at a gold meridian here, I sat with Dr. Shamsuddin Usman, and I asked him the same question. I said, what's the population of Lagos? If you are planning, by the way, this don't be available with me. I have spent, I wasn't born in Lagos, I'm not a Rocha, I'm not a Yoruba man, I'm a Bini man. But since January 66, I have lived in Lagos, all my children were born here. So I have a passion for Lagos. I don't think federal government has to behave like an ostrich, hiding instead of the sand and behaving as if the whole world is blind and they don't see us as we are. Once we begin to face the truth, I think this country can move forward. In case of your own territory, Mr. Says liquidity by buying back the money, and of course the interest you give is more than the interest you are asking the banks to give to lenders, particularly with SME. Because if you do this, the money that, if, for example, your intervention is at a lower rate, and yet you get interest, that is, you offer funds and give a higher interest rate than you are asking the banks to give, and the bank also look up to you. So there appears to be a lot of contradiction. Maybe you may have to consider, I'm not saying you should give dollars to every state and local government, but maybe dollar bills and some of modification. Maybe instead of monthly coming to Abuja, perhaps twice a month, weekly or whatever method, so that the excess liquidity doesn't arise. It has been on for years. It's a challenge to central bank. You must find a solution. Thank you very much.
That the formula and the methodology will be removed. That will dent the credibility of the whole exercise. For serious international analysts, they want to see the basics of what we are doing. So I will appeal that as much as been put into this, there's no reason why it should not be subjected to. That is my contribution. Thank you.
The methodology with formulas and models will be on our website by 3 p.m. today. The data sheet that we can release is the model, that is the software, the live where all the work is done. So you can copy it, you can transcribe it. All the steps we followed is there. But of course, we are not going to give you